Hello, welcome back to a new video. Today I'm going to be talking about Nuclear Assault. It's going to be a quick, simple video, relatively short. Nuclear Assault's one of those bands that were, cool during the thrash metal era. Really, I don't want to say popular, but within the top 10 thrash metal bands during the 80s, late 80s, and then of course during 1990. They came out with several albums. The first one was Game Over, then of course they released an EP before that, and in 88 they released Survive. My favorite songs off Survive are Brainwashed and Equal Rights. Those are really cool songs. And I thought it was an interesting album. I liked those songs, but I did not get the album. I didn't buy that album at the time. And of course, the most epic, really cool thrash song on there, The Great Depression. That was an awesome one. So of course, that one I skipped, and I just didn't buy it until 1990. Anyways, so the album I'm talking about today came out in November of 1989. It came out at the ending of 89, so they didn't release a video for the first month or so. I'm not sure exactly when it was. I think it was like late January, early February of 1989, where I finally saw the video for Critical Mass. Critical Mass is a really cool song. This album is one of their best ones. Includes songs like Surgery, Emergency. There's a couple songs I didn't like on it, like Mother's Day or Funky Noise. A couple of other odd, corny ones. New song had a really cool, fast pace to it, and it was just awesome. And then, of course, the Animal Rights song Torture Tactics, which I mentioned in one of my other videos there. And Trail of Tears, the anti-suicide song, I guess, if you will. So those songs were definitely the best off of this album. It's an awesome album. They released several videos. They released, several videos. That's what was good about Nuclear Assault also, once again. You wouldn't have heard of them. I wouldn't have heard of them. Only through like magazines, ads and stuff like that. But that just gained a little bit, I don't want to say popularity, but they got a little more of recognition and notoriety, I guess. They got noticed a little more because once again they made a music video. So this album right here is the Environmentalist album. Back in those days, back in that time, a lot of the metal bands were, the thrash metal bands, we're like, okay, we're not writing about girls and stuff. Let's try to write something about something serious and about something that's important. They really hit it up with that on this one. Awesome album album cover, handled with care. It's an environmentalist tape. Greta, if Greta was into Greta Thunberg or whatever her name is there, if she was a metalhead, this would be her favorite album. That's for sure.
People are suffering. People are dying. Economic growth. How dare you?
So some of you have probably seen the video for Critical Mass. That was one of the really cool ones. It was one of the first videos to have the subtitles at the bottom, which is kind of funny because there's a lot of their songs where you can't really understand what Johnny's saying. But with Critical Mass and with an important message it was, they had the little lyrics scrolling down at the bottom of the videos. Out of Order in 1991 was okay. There was something about it. And Sign in Blood, I guess, is my favorite song off of that album. And then, of course, 1993, Something Wicked This Way Comes. It wasn't that great. And that's something that a lot of those bands did. Some of them just kind of changed. There was a lineup change, not specifically with Nuclear Assault, not until after. But there was a lot of bands at that time, either they were going through a lineup change or they tried to change up their style and the whole thing. They were like, okay, let's not repeat themselves as the early 90s. People are doing things different. Let's try to do something different. By this time it was, the whole thrash metal scene was standing on shaky ground. There were still bands coming out with albums, of course. So, but I don't know. I don't think any thrash metal band out there, correct me if I'm wrong, I doubt it. I don't think there's any thrash metal band out there, including Overkill, Nuclear Assault, the top 6, the big 6, the big 4, whatever, the big 15 or 20 of them. There's not one of those bands that put out their best album between 92 and 99. Definitely not. Any single one of those bands. None of those bands did that. They put out albums in the 90s, but it definitely wasn't their best. Maybe some of you might think it's their best, and in your opinion it is, but I don't think so. I think a lot of other fans would agree. 82 to 1990 were the best, or if they released albums in 84, 86, whatever. Those were the years where these bands released the best albums that they ever did. Nuclear Assault is still on tour. They released a EP in 2015 called Pounder. I think it's the name of it. Anyways, they're on tour. I recently watched an interview with Dan Luker, and it's cool that they're still touring and they're still actually doing stuff. And he didn't turn into an SJW. That's really cool. But one thing he said when asked, are you going to record an album? He's like, well, probably not. He kind of pulled a Paul Stanley on that, because it's like, well, fans come to see the old songs and then hear the old songs. But also, I believe in the whole new album thing, because I'm like, well, bands should show their fans, like, oh, hey, we still got it musically, we still got it song lyric wise and song wise. So I think other bands, any band that tour, yeah, that just kind of bugs me when bands tour. They get back together and then they tour. I understand to get the juices flowing again and all that other stuff. But when they do that, and then they just don't put out an album, and they tour for like 6-7 years or what the heck ever, and then there is no new album, I just don't get how my bands do that. Once again, it's like, oh hey, let's see what you got, and put out some new material. Hey, thanks for watching. I figured I decided to make this a quick, short video. Not really much to say about Nuclear Assault. They had 3 awesome albums. 2 of the ones that were okay after that. They really weren't huge on the scene, even within thrash metal. I mean, they were big and they were known, you know what I mean. That's kind of it. There's not really much else to say about Nuclear Assault, other than they were a great band. They're still a great band. I wish they would put out something new, but if you haven't heard of Nuclear Assault, check out those albums. Game Over, Survive, and of course Handle with Care first before you check out those other ones. And thanks for watching.